Fundamentals of Chinese 4, Unit 7, Sports. My gut keeps getting bigger and bigger. Understand it. Turn to pages 228 to 230 in your textbook. Have a pen or pencil ready to take notes. Okay, so this conversation starts out Wang Peng and Gao Wenzhong are in a dorm room. It looks like either Gao Wenzhong's dorm room, and Gao Wenzhong is concerned about his stomach. And he says, 你看我的肚子越来越大了. Okay, so you should remember 肚子 from a few lessons back, and you've also learned this pattern here, 越来越. So you say 越来越, and then you put an adjective after it. So you've learned this, so you should know what it means. Pause and write down what you think it means. So look, my gut is getting bigger and bigger. Look, 你看. Right? You're getting someone's attention. You want them to look at something. You say 你看. And then 我的肚子. So this is my stomach or my gut, my belly. 我的肚子. And then 越来越. And then you add an adjective, just means more and more. So literally, this is my, and then stomach, more and more big. Okay, and we could say, look, my gut is getting, well, no, that's not really good English, but the better way to say it is how I've translated it here, or how the book translates it. My gut is getting bigger and bigger. 越来越大. 你看我的肚子越来越大. And then we add a le on the end. That's part of the construction. That's part of the, you have 越来越 adjective 了. 你看我的肚子越来越大了. Alright, Wang Peng responds, 你平常吃的那么多又不运动，当然越来越胖了. 你平常吃的那么多又不运动，当然越来越胖了. Okay. So the new element here is a new piece of vocabulary is 当然. 当然. 当然 means of course. Of course. 当然. 你平常吃的那么多又不运动，当然越来越胖了. Okay, so here we see this 越来越 again, and in this case we have a different adjective. Instead of da, we have 胖. And what does 胖 mean? Okay, 胖 means fat. Fat, 胖. Okay, so 你平常吃的那么多又不运动，当然越来越胖了. Okay, so pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, you usually eat a lot. 你平常吃的那么多, right? So 你平常吃, and then this the is introducing an adverb. You eat a lot. So much, 那么多, 吃的那么多, you eat a lot. But you don't exercise. 又不运动. 又 can be used to mean but. 又不运动. Okay? Don't exercise. 当然越来越胖了. Okay, of course. And then I put gut in parentheses here, but you don't really need it there, because it could mean the whole body generally is getting fatter. So 当然越来越胖. of course you are getting fatter and fatter. "那怎么办呢?" Gao Wenzhong says, "那怎么办呢?" Pause and write down what you think this means. Then what can I do? 那怎么办呢? Then what can I do? Na is connecting it. It's like then, connecting from the last idea. Then, what can I do? 怎么 is what, and ban is do, or how. 怎么 is more like how to do, what to do about it. Ban means to do. 怎么办呢? Okay, Wang Peng comes back and says, 如果怕胖，你一个星期运动2-3次，每一次半个小时，胖子就会小了。Okay, so here we have 怕. Pa means to be afraid of something, and pa means to fear or to be afraid in the very literal sense, meaning, I'm afraid of drowning, or, that intense fear that you get, if a dog is charging at you, growling or something like that. But the Chinese also use the word pa, or fear, to also mean to really not like something, to not like it. They use it more abstractly, like we do sometimes as well. I'm afraid I can't go to Boston this weekend. I'm too busy. We don't really mean I'm afraid in a fearful sense. And pa, you can't use pa in that way. I'm afraid I can't go to Boston. But pa means just to don't like. So, or I'm afraid of getting fat. Oh, there you go. We say that in English too. I'm afraid of getting fat. Pa pang. I'm afraid of fat. So 如果怕胖, and then Wang Peng comes up with a suggestion. 你一个星期运动2-3次，每次半个小时，胖子就会小了. Okay, so pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, so if you are afraid of getting fat, okay, 如果 means if, right? 如果怕胖. Alright, so very concise here in Chinese. If you are afraid of getting fat, 如果怕胖, you should exercise 2 to 3 times a week. 你一个星期运动2-3次. Okay. Now in Chinese, look at English here. Exercise 2 to 3 times a week. Now we already saw this in a lesson about taking medicine. How many pills to take, how many times a day. This was a few lessons back. Okay, when you want to talk about the frequency of doing something, in Chinese, first you state the overall time period. First you state the time period, and then you state the number of times within that period that something is supposed to happen. So if it's 3 times a week, in English we say 3 times a week. In Chinese they say 一个星期3次. They say 1 week 3 times. So we say 3 times a week. Chinese say 1 week 3 times. Okay, so 你一个星期运动2-3次. And so if we say you should exercise 2 to 3 times a week. So in English we have you should exercise up front, and then 2 to 3 times, and then lastly we say week. But in Chinese it's different. The word order is you, a week, exercise 2-3 times. You, a week, you, a week, exercise 2 to 3 times. So you're going to have to get used to that pattern and memorize it. 每次半个小时 each time a half hour. Each time for a half hour. 胖子就会小了, right? Then your stomach will get smaller. I'm sorry, 肚子. I've been reading this wrong. 肚子, stomach. 肚子, stomach will get smaller. Okay, and now we have Gao Wenzhong coming back and saying 我2年没运动了。做什么运动呢？我2年没运动了。做什么运动呢？ Okay, so here we have a grammar, an element that's going to appear in the grammar section of the textbook, and I'll have that in the grammar video. And here we have a construction that's basically this may, and then, well, a time period, in this case 2 years, and then the character may, and then a verb, and then la, and the la can be optional. La, and basically what it means is, like for example, if you were to say eat, 我2天没吃饭了. Okay, I haven't eaten for 2 days. I haven't eaten for 2 days. So it's a construction of saying I haven't done something for a specific amount of time. I haven't skied in several years. I haven't had a cup of coffee in 8 days. Whatever. Some activity has not happened. You have not done it, or it hasn't happened for a certain period of time. And that's this construction here. Time period, may, action, le. Okay? So 我2年没运动了。做什么运动呢? So pause and write down what you think this means. Alright, I haven't exercised in 2 years. What kind of exercise should I do? 做什么运动呢? Do what exercise? Alright, Wang Peng has a suggestion. He says, 最简单的运动是跑步. 最简单的运动是跑步. Okay, 跑步, you know, and 简单 is a new word for you. 简单 means simple. 简单 means simple. So 最简单的运动是跑步. Pause and write down what you think this means. Oh, you didn't know what 跑步 means. 跑步. Okay, 跑步 means run. 跑步. 跑 means run. 步 means to take a step. 1, 2, 3 steps. 跑步. These two characters together mean simply to run. So now you should have the meaning, and it is the simplest exercise is running. 最简单的运动. The simplest exercise is running. Okay, Gao Wenzhong comes back and says, 冬天那么冷，夏天那么热，跑步太难受了。Okay, 跑步太难受了。So 难受. Okay, 难受 means hard to bear or uncomfortable. 难受. And the grammar point here, and we'll look at some more examples of this in the grammar section, but basically the grammar point here, what it's explaining is you can sometimes take the word 好, which means easy or good, like 你好, 好, that 好, which can mean easy, or 难, which means difficult, and you put it before a verb, and you come up with an adjective. Okay, in this case you take 难, which means difficult, and 受, which means to endure or to bear and endure something. Okay, and so you have something that's easy to bear or easy to endure would be 好受, or something that's difficult to bear would be 难受. Okay, so 高文中 says 跑步太难受了. So pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, it's cold in winter. 冬天那么冷. It's so cold in winter. And so hot in the summer. 夏天那么热. Running is too uncomfortable. 跑步太难受了. Alright, so running's out, so Wang Peng comes up with another suggestion. 你打网球吧. 你打网球吧. Okay, 网球 is tennis. So 网 literally is net, and 球, you know, means ball. So net ball, literally. And of course there's a net in tennis between the two players, so this is what they say for tennis. So why is this ba here? He just suggested that he run. Gao Wenzhong didn't like that suggestion, so Wang Peng says 你打网球吧. Alright, pause and write down what you think this means. Alright, just had to fix a mistake there. Try playing tennis. Okay, remember, ba can be used when you're making a suggestion. So 你打网球吧. Okay, so you play tennis, and then ba turns this whole sentence back here into a suggestion. So if you're making a suggestion in English, then we need to add some vocabulary here so it makes sense. And so I put try here. Try playing tennis. You'll notice there's no try in the Chinese sentence, because ba is functioning as, it's a particle, an ending particle that you put at the end of a sentence, and it's making the sentence into a suggestion. Okay, Gao Wenzhong comes back and says 打网球的. Sorry, 打网球得买网球拍、网球鞋。你知道网球拍、网球鞋贵极了. Okay. So only one word in here that you're not familiar with, and that's pai. And pai means racket. Pai means racket. And if you look at this character, you have the tishou pang, which is the radical for things that are done with your hand. And then you have the character here, bai, which means white, but actually here it kind of looks like a paddle, doesn't it? So that can help you remember the character. So what does this sentence mean? 打网球得买网球拍、网球鞋。你知道网球拍、网球鞋贵极了. So pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, so you have to buy a tennis racket to play tennis. Okay, 打网球, play tennis. The word order in Chinese is quite different than in English. To express this in Chinese, they first state the activity, and then they state that it's going to cost money. but let's just take a look at how he did this here. So 打网球, play tennis. 得 means you must, right? 得买 buy, must buy, 得买 must buy a tennis racket and tennis shoes. And then he repeats 网球拍 tennis racket, 网球鞋 tennis shoes, 贵极了 extremely expensive. Remember, G can mean extreme, and you put it at the end of a on the next to at the end of an adjective, after an adjective, to make it extremely something. Okay, so we say extremely cold, extremely hot. For extremely cold, the Chinese would say 冷极了, or for extremely hot, they would say 热极了. And in this case, expensive, 贵, extremely expensive, 贵极. And then I like to add a la on the end of this 极 expression, 贵极了. So 打网球得买网球拍、网球鞋。你知道网球拍、网球鞋贵极了 very expensive. Alright, Wang Peng tries yet again. He says, with another suggestion, he says, 找几个人打篮球吧. So here we have another suggestion. 吧，买个篮球很便宜. Okay, so 篮球 is basketball, and 篮 means, can you guess? It means basket. 篮子 is a basket, so 篮 basket, 球 ball, we come up with basketball. So you should have enough to go on here. 找几个人打篮球吧，买个篮球很便宜. Alright, pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, find some people to play basketball with, or maybe even better, you could say, why don't you find some people to play basketball with? 找几个人打篮球吧. Look for some people to play basketball. And then it's cheap to buy a basketball, or a basketball is cheap, right? Buy a basketball very cheap. Alright, looks like Gao Wenzhong comes back with yet another excuse for why he can't do that. He says, 那每次都得打电话约人，麻烦死了。那每次都得打电话约人，麻烦死了。Okay, I'm certain you've seen everything here. So pause and write down what you think it means. And if you have some trouble with it, well, I'll explain it in just a second. Okay. Then every time I would need to call and arrange to meet. It's kind of awkward in English, but you get the meaning. If he's going to play basketball, it means he'd have to call his friends every time to arrange a time to get together and play basketball. 那每次都得打电话约人. Okay, so then each time, and then we put a do in here, sort of emphasizing each time. You have to call, 打电话, call someone. 约means to make an appointment with. 约人 means to make an appointment or an arrangement or a date with someone. 麻烦 is trouble. 麻烦, 死 means to die. But like in English where we say that's I'm sick to death of this. I'm tired to death of doing that. So we use this tired to death, death. Okay, so in Chinese, you know, 死 means death, and so they can put 死 on after an adjective, and it means that it's in this case troublesome to death. 麻烦 means trouble. 麻烦死了 means troublesome to death. Essentially, death here, both in English and in Chinese, is just a substitute for the word very. It's very troublesome. It's cold to death outside. Right? What we're really saying is it's very cold. Alright, Wang Peng very patiently comes up with another suggestion. He says, 你去游泳吧，不用找人，也不用花很多钱，什么时候去都可以。Okay, so 游泳 means to swim. And you can see the radicals in each of these characters is the radical for water. This radical here means water. So the radical in each of these two characters is the one for water. 游泳 means water, means to swim. So 你去游泳吧, that's his suggestion. 不用找人，也不用花太多钱，什么时候去都可以. Right? Pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, so go swimming. It might be better to say, why don't you go swimming? Or why don't you try swimming? 你去游泳吧. You don't need to find others. Okay? 不用找人. You don't need to look for anyone else. You can do it alone. 也不用花很多钱. And it also isn't necessary to spend a lot of money. Also, 不用, not necessary, spend, 花, and 很多, a lot, 钱, money. 也不用花很多钱. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And then here we see this interesting construction again. You can go whenever you want. 什么时候去都可以. So this means, literally it's what, 什么 is what. Sorry. 什么时候 is when. The whole construction, 什么时候 means when. So 什么时候 means when. So when, go, all, okay. Okay, so that really doesn't make much sense when you translate it into English directly. But it means you can go whenever you want. And so think of this construction. You may want to memorize this construction, and you can just replace the verb 去. Okay, so in this case, it's you can go whenever you want. So if you wanted to know, well, when can I eat? And then the answer is, well, you can eat whenever you want. Okay, then it would be 什么时候吃饭都可以. You can eat whenever you want. Oh, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. When can I go to bed? 什么时候睡觉都可以. You can go to bed whenever you want. I want to watch TV. When can I watch TV? 什么时候看电视都可以. You can watch TV whenever you want. Okay, so this little construction, you'll have to memorize it, and then everything is constant. 都可以, 什么时候, and 都可以 can just stay the same. All you're doing is replacing this verb here. Alright, are you surprised at Gao Wenzhong's response here? 游泳我怕水太危险了淹死了怎么办 Okay, so first we have 危险危险 means dangerous 危险 means dangerous. Okay, so 游泳我怕水 we just saw 怕 afraid 我怕水，太危险了。Okay, so what is this 淹死? Let's take a look. Okay, 淹死 means to drown. 淹 means to drown, and 淹死 drown to death, or just to drown. So 游泳，我怕水，太危险了，淹死了怎么办? Alright, pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, swimming, 游泳, I'm afraid of water, 我怕水. It's too dangerous, 太危险了. Remember, too dangerous, too hot, too cold, too whatever. You use this 太, and then the adjective, and then 了. Okay. What if I drown? 淹死了怎么办? Okay. What if I drown? 淹死了怎么办? Okay, you can't translate this what if I drown directly into Chinese. What if I drown in English really means what happens if I drown? What do I do? What do my parents do? What does my family do? What do my children do? You know, what happens if I drown? 淹死了怎么办? Okay, so 淹死了 drown 怎么办? What do I do if I drown? What happens if I drown? So you can say, what if I blank? What if I fail the test? Okay, 考试不及格怎么办? What if I fail the test? What if she gets angry? 她生气怎么办? What if she gets angry? What if it rains? We're going to go out and play basketball, but what if it rains? 下雨了怎么办? Okay, so you just have some incident here, and then after it you put 怎么办, and you come up with a stock translation for what if I blank? What if it rains? What if I drown? What if she gets angry at me? What if it's too dark out? And so on. You state the incident and then follow it up with 怎么办, and you come up with this kind of phrase. Okay, next we have Wang Peng finally losing patience and saying, 我也没办法了，你不愿意运动，那就胖下去吧。Okay, 愿意 means to be willing to do something, or 不愿意 not be willing to do something. 愿意. Okay, so Gao Wenzhong says 怎么办? And Wang Peng says 我也没办法了. Okay, 你不愿意运动，你不愿意运动。Okay, 那就胖下去吧。Okay, now 下去 we'll cover in grammar point number 3. You know, 下 means down, and 去 means go, and 下去 can mean go down, but it also means go on, to continue on and on and on. 下去. So you have a verb or an adjective, and you put 下去 on the end, and it means that whatever that verb or adjective is saying, it's just going to go on and on and on indefinitely. So, 我也没办法了，你不愿意运动，那就胖下去吧。Okay, pause and write down what you think this means. Okay, well, there's nothing I can do. 我也没办法了, there's nothing I can do. 你不愿意运动. You're not willing to exercise. And because you're not willing to exercise, then simply fat 下去, right? 胖下去, go on being fat. Okay, so you have fat, 胖, and 下去, to go on, and literally it's fat go on, but you have a phrasal element here. It's 胖下去. It means then you'll have to go on being fat. 那就胖下去. Then simply go on being fat. Okay, 胖下去, go on being fat. Okay, go on being happy, 高兴下去了. Alright, go on being upset, 生气下去了. Go on running, 跑步下去了. Okay, and that concludes this Understand It video for Unit 7.